So now continuing on with things, I want to move to the next most common topic, and that's going to be learning the notes of your instrument. Nice thing about both the bass and the guitar is that the first four strings of both instruments, which is all the strings of the bass and the first four of the guitar, are the same. And fret 0, second string, is the same note as it is for bass as guitar, just bass is a lot lower. So I'm going to stick with my bass because it's my favorite, and I'm going to now discuss the notes. And this is just going to be really short to help students who are like, oh, I don't really remember what that is. Now this is what it is. And I'll also be covering the 2-2 rule. I call it the 2-2 rule, as well as the 5-fret rule. And those are rules that help you navigate and figure out the names of notes anywhere you are on your instrument. Because a lot of times, we'll have to play something way up here, and there's just, I don't have that memorized. I have to do a little bit of math and figure out, oh, it's a C. So that's those are the two topics that we're going to cover. So let's go ahead and start with our lowest possible note, and we're going to be doing 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, because everything else past the 4th fret, it can be reiterated somewhere else. And so I'll show you what I mean just shortly. So we're going to start off with an E. E is going to be our big low string. It's this guy right here. First fret, we're going to have an F, F sharp, G, G sharp. Now the alphabet starts over. Once you reach G sharp, then it goes to A, B flat, B, C. You could do D flat, C sharp. Now we're going to move on to the next string, which is going to be D, D sharp, E flat, E. Then we're going to go F. Now we're starting to cycle over again, right? Then we're going to do F sharp, G, G sharp, A, B flat, A sharp, and B. Alright, so we've covered the first 4 frets of all 4 strings. If that's all you needed, go ahead and take off. You can do what you want. But there are a couple very useful rules that I have with my weird little names for them to kind of help people remember, that help you navigate and figure out what another note would be. Because very often we'll be playing a song and we're going to be playing past our 4th fret. And when we play past our 4th fret, since I didn't tell you, right, we don't have those memorized. So now we have to do a little bit of math to figure out what it is. Okay? So let's talk first about the 2-2 rule. Okay? So the reason why it's called 2-2 rule is because it's 2 frets up, 2 strings down. And what that means is you're going to be reaching the same note, except the new note that you reach is a lot higher than the previous one. They're the same note, but one's higher than the other. So let's take a look at an example of that occurring with the note G. So we're going to start here, G, our 3rd fret on our E string. It's our big string. So that is my note G. Now, if I want to play that G higher up somewhere, right, I might not necessarily have another option. So what I need to do is I need to do the 2-2 rule. So here's my 3rd fret. I'm going to go 1, 2, and I'm going to go 1, 2. So this 5th fret on my 3rd string, which is the D string, okay, should also be G. So let's go ahead and test it out and see if that is in fact the same note. So here's G. I'm going to hum it. Sounds like the same note to me. And so now we've seen the 2-2 rule in action. This is how we can accurately figure out, oh, if I go up 2 frets, down 2 strings, I'll be reaching the same note as before. So let's say I'm in a song and I figure out I need to play a note right up here. This is my 10th fret on my G string. I don't know what it is off the top of my head. So maybe I should do a 2-2 rule to figure out where I'm going to end up, right? And so I'd go down 2, I reach this fret now, and I'll go down a little bit more, and there we are. So in this case, I was playing an F way up here. And another way we could have done it right is because there's a 12th fret right here. 12th fret is an octave. So if this open string is G and this is G, then I just go down 2 frets to my 10th fret, and that has to be F. So there's a couple ways that we can reach the same conclusion, right? Now the next rule is the 5-5 rule, which I accidentally, because of the note that I chose, ended up needing to use it for going down a 2-2, and then I went over to a 5-fret rule there. So let's go ahead and figure out what this 5-fret rule is. So the 5-fret rule is based off of the fact that every single time you come up to your 5th fret, it's also the same note as the string, the open string below it. So let's look at what happens when we go up to the 5th fret on E. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's my 5th fret on the E string. If I pluck this string right underneath it, it is the exact same note. And so if I were to take this, go down 5 frets, 5-fret rule, it's the same as that fret below it. So if I'm up at 5, you subtract 5 off of it, you get 0, the open string. But we don't have to just apply it to 5th frets and 0 open strings. We can also be applying this to other scenarios. So let's say I'm playing this note way up here. This is my 10th fret on my E string. And so off the top of my head, I don't know what it is. So I need to do some math to figure out what it's going to be. So in this case, I'm going to use my 5-fret rule. So I'm going to come down 1, 2, 3, 4. And there's my 5th fret. So 10 minus 5 is 5. I reach the 5th fret on my next string down, and it's the exact same note. And that's the 5-fret rule. So those notes are exactly the same. Luckily, I do know what the note of my 5th fret is on my A string, right, my 2nd string, and that's the note D, which if we were to do a second 5-fret rule, doing 5 down to 0, boom, the open 3rd string, yes, in fact, that is D. So those are a couple different ways that we can navigate around our instruments to help us figure out what a note is. I know that was pretty fast, so if you need to go back, rewatch it, pause it, go ahead. But what I've explained should be relatively clear and understandable for everyone. Alrighty, hope you learned something.